Okay, hello everyone and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz, and today we're going to be doing a garage review of this thing, the T-34 Shielded. This is a free tank that you could have got if you logged in for 10 days in a row over the Christmas time of 2021, between, what will it have been, around I think it's like the 4th to the 11th of December. If you'd been logging in every day, you would have got 10 parts towards, or 10 blueprint pieces towards 100 pieces to get the T-34 shielded, and then once you got the 100, you exchange them like any other blueprint tank, and you would get a T-34 shielded just by logging in. You didn't have to play a match or anything. All you had to do was log in and claim your bonus. So yeah, here it is, T-34 shielded. There it is compared to the regular T-34. As you can see, it's got the nice HD look to it that they've been starting to roll out for some of the tanks in the game. So yeah, let's just have a look at it. So 763 HP, which compared to the regular T-34, which has got 721, bearing in mind this is with improved assembly. Yes, improved assembly. So it's slightly more health than a regular T-34. In comparison to a regular Matilda 4 of 750, it's not quite as good. If I was to take off this, yeah, it would have 720 HP. This has got 750, compared to the Panzer 4, which has got 680, the Chinukai, aka the Shinobi, which has got 720, the Easy 4 Sherman, which has got 720. So yeah, it's sort of right around in the mid-range of medium tanks at this tier. The Sherman 5, which has got 700, it's in the sort of mid to higher tier in terms of HP for medium tanks, which is nice. It's always nice to have it. It's got better HP than the regular T-34. It's got 55 frontal turret, 45 side, 45 rear. It does have 55 frontal hull, 40 side, 40 rear. However, bearing in mind that the turret at least has got spaced armor, and I do believe that this add-on side armor does count as spaced armor, as does this lower part here for the, or in fact all of this side armor I believe also counts as spaced armor. As you can see, the gaps there indicating that it is indeed spaced in comparison to the regular T-34, which has got 60, 60, 55, 50, 50, 45. So it's losing 5mm of side armor only to gain that 5mm back as spaced, which is a fair trade-off, I suppose you could say. The spaced armor does give it protection against heat, most certainly, as well as HE. So that is something to note. That is something nice, especially if you're facing up against KV6s or something. If you do get matched into that +1, -1 tier, if you do get matched against KV2s, their HE will be far less effective against the 34 shielded in comparison to something regular. But in general, though, even compared to the Type T-34 with its 60, 60, 50, 52, 52, 47, whilst the armour is not as thick as a bunch of other tanks at this tier, the Panzer IV-G at least has got 103 frontal hull, 81 turret, 103 frontal hull. I swear it wasn't that much when I last looked at it, but yeah, 103 frontal hull. The Krupp 38D, it's got 80 frontal hull. Obviously, the 5.4 has got the Panther hull. The Easy 4 has got 64 hull as well as 76 turret. So whilst it's not as much in terms of armor raw, it does have nicely sloped armor. That is the thing with the T-34. You can side scrape to an extent. You can also get some bounces off your frontal hull. The turret not so much, however, even so the turret can be a little bit picky. Also something to note, this turret, it is not the mod 1942 turret, which I think this is the mod 1942, yeah, the mod 1942 turret that the fully upgraded T-34 or Type T-34 gets. This is a model 1940 turret, or maybe a 41. It just says T-34 shielded, but this is the 1940 turret. It's got the flattened top. It's got the flattened top. It does not have the Commander's cupola. So that is something to note. The cupola weak spot has gone. So that is a nice bonus, I suppose you could say. It is also therefore slightly shorter than the regular T-34. As you can see, there's the 34 shielded, there's the gap with this drawing board at the back, and then you put on the regular 34 and it's completely covered. So yeah, it is slightly more, slightly harder to detect than a regular T-34 because it is slightly smaller. As for mobility, 30 kilometers per hour, 15.8 power to weight with a 36 degrees per second turret traverse and a nearly 50 degrees per second hull traverse with its 495 horsepower engine. I do have engine accelerator on this. So compared to the regular T-34, which has got a 16.5 power to weight, 32 kilometers per hour average speed, 49 degrees per second turret, and a 56 degrees per second hull. So it's not quite as mobile as the regular T-34, which is a bit unfortunate. Comparison to the to the Panzer IV G rather, 16.8 power to weight, 33 average speed. Yeah, there's the turret and hull traverse. Yeah, it's not quite as mobile as other medium tanks at this tier. Probably to do with the spaced armour adding weight, I would have to guess. Pound to weight is similar to the Sherman 5 though. In fact, it's nearly identical to the Sherman 5 if you have that. The Type T-34 has got a far better mobility stat than this thing. So yeah, it's not quite as mobile as other medium tanks at this tier. It's going to be more mobile than the Matilda. Yeah, 12.3 and 25. So yeah, it's slightly more mobile than the Matilda, but even so, it's still in the lower end of medium tanks for this tier. So you're not quite as mobile as you might like to be due to the add-on armor adding weight, I'm assuming. But now we come to the gun, and the gun is interesting. Because here it is, it's a 76mm F-34 1943 model, which is pretty much the same as the T-34 gets. There it is, F-34. Here are the stats. However, it is better. It is superior to the T-34's intermediate gun, the F-34 on the T-34, because it has heat as its premium ammo. As you can see on the regular T-34, the F-34 here gets armor-piercing composite rigid APCR. It also only gets 86 mils of average PEM. The top gun, the S-54 on the T-34, does get 125 mil of PEM with AP. However, it also gets APCR as premium, whereas the shielded gets heat. Not sure why, but the addition of heat at this tier from this gun is pretty nice. I mean, even the KV-1's 85mm doesn't get heat. The Churchill doesn't, obviously. The Nightmare gets heat because it is a 105mm. Even the Y5 T-34 doesn't get heat from its F-34, probably. I mean, it's probably an F-34, let's be real. Yeah, it gets APCR. So, yeah, it's one of the very, very few tanks at this tier which gets heat as its premium round. I mean, basically nothing. Why does my Ram 2 not have any ammo on it? Strange. Let me add ammo onto that. Don't know why it lost all of its ammo, but okay. Yeah, so basically nothing at this tier gets heat as its premium round. So a medium tank such as the T-34 shielded to get heat, it's pretty unusual, but is a pretty nice change. 4.3 second aim time, 0.34 dispersion, 1300 DPM, with a just under 7 second reload. 110 mils of average pen with AP, 156 with heat, 40 with HE, 160, 120, 200. That's pretty standard damage for a 76 or 75 mil gun at this tier. 8 degrees of gun depression. Overall, the gun could be worse. In comparison to the T-34's S-54, it has got slightly worse aim time, far better dispersion, however, with a better reload time, but it does have less average PEM with AP, and about the same with APCR, I think. How much PEM was this? 156. So yeah, it's about the same pen on its premium rounds, or exactly the same pen with its premium rounds, and it does the same sort of damage, but slightly less damage with its heat. Heat on the T-34 shielded is only doing 120, this is doing 135 average damage, still with the 8 degrees of gun depression though. So it compares sort of favourably to the T-34, especially with regards to dispersion. The T-34 here has pretty poor dispersion, even if we put refined gun on it, it's 0.36. With refined gun on this, it's 0.34. So, I mean, taking that off, it's 0.37, which is not great. But if you do get refined gun on this thing, the accuracy is all right, which is pretty nice to see. Aim time, not too bad. It's not great, but it's not the worst. I mean, 4.3 second aim time is sort of average. Let's be real. 1300 DPM with a just under 7 second reload is not too bad. It's about average with the Panzer IV Gs, 75mm Kampfwagen cannon, a 40 L48. Which has got 0.35, 4.1, 7.13 second reload time. It's got the same average pen with most of its ammo, but the Panzer IV does do better damage with its APCR. In comparison to the EZ4's gun, the EZ4 gets worse penetration with basically the same average damage. The EZ4 has got worse dispersion, better aim time, better DPM though with better aim better reload time. So, I mean, the Matilda 4 also gets a 76mm ZIS 96, but yeah, same average pen, most of its ammo, same sort of dispersion, better aim time, better DPM, and better gun depression, 14 degrees of gun depression. Sherman 5, let's just have a look at the Sherman 5, where the 75mm gets basically the same average damage, gets worse damage but better DPM. So what you're trading off here for heat is that you are getting a worse DPM in comparison to most medium tanks at this tier, but you are getting heat as a premium round, which is pretty unique at this tier, and it's pretty useful at this tier. Your reload time still is pretty good, but the DPM is just lacking. It's just how it is. The dispersion is alright, and the aim time is also alright as well. So overall, stats wise, it's not too bad. I mean, it's quite sluggish for a medium tank, but having heat and the gun itself in general, looking at all the stats of the gun, is not too bad. The armor as well, it's about the same as a regular T-34, so there's not too much trade-off in comparison to the regular tech tree T-34 and the T-34 shielded. So yeah, it's a pretty decent trade-off. As for consumables, you've got your standard repair, first aid, fire. You've got your adrenaline for 20% to load speed and 10% chance of damaging enemy vehicle modules for 15 seconds. Your engine power boost, 20% to engine power, and then your multi-purpose, which is those three rolled into one. Go ahead and mount them as you want. Provisions, it is tier 5. You only have 2 of the 3 spots unlocked, and you do only have 3 types of consumables. You've got your standard fuel for 3% to engine power and turret traverse. You've got your condensed milk for 3% to crew mastery. Then your protective kit, which is all that lot. So you can go ahead and mount them as you want. You do have 2 out of 3 slots, so you can match most of those into there. You do carry 90 rounds of ammo, which, I mean, the regular T-34 carries just over half the amount. So you've got far and away enough rounds to last you through any game. You've got far more ammo than is needed, let's be honest. So you can go ahead and mount as much heat and AP as you want, and you'll probably never run out in a battle. 90 rounds is more than enough for a regular Blitz game. So you go ahead and put them on as you want. And then as for equipment, gun rammer gets your DPM up. Calibrated shells is nice, especially for the heat. You do get up to 172 mils of average pen with heat, which is nice with calibrated shells. However, the DPM of your tank is poor, let's be fair. If you don't have gun rammer, you're down to 1200 DPM, which is, I mean, that's nearly 300 DPM less than some medium tanks at this tier. So a gun rammer is probably more useful for just getting DPM out and surviving. Improved modules for the extra track durability. You also get an extra minus 10% damage to HE shells with a caliber larger than 130mm, which again, if you're going up against KV2s or anything else which have got 150 plus, 130 plus size guns, then improved modules is going to be useful. I mean, you do also get the extra decrease in damage from ramming and all that. So improved modules. Then you are a medium tank after all, so coated optics is what you're going to want, up to 253 meters view range. Enhanced gun lane drive for the extra aim time, going to be very useful. Supercharge is not quite as useful as you may think, because unlike AP and APCR, heat does not lose penetration over distance. So if you're thinking that your heat will be even more potent if you put supercharge on because you'll get a decrease in penetration loss, heat has no penetration loss. So supercharge is a bad choice on this tank, I'd say. Enhanced gun lane drive is better. Improved assembly as well for the extra HP. Enhanced armor seems nice, but even though you do have sloped armor, your armor is still far thinner in comparison in raw thickness to other mediums at this tier. So enhanced armor for the extra, improved assembly rather, for the extra HP is what I'd say. And then engine accelerator. You do have subpar mobility, especially again in comparison to other medium tanks and the stock tech tree, the regular tech tree T-34 when it's fully upgraded. So engine accelerator to increase your power to weight, plus you do get the hull traverse bonus as well. Engine accelerator is just the way to go. Refined gun as well gets your accuracy down from 0.38/37 to 0.34, which is pretty decent accuracy. So yeah, I'd say refined gun. And then enhanced tracks, although really it's your choice of either one really. And then your choice of whatever the hell those two things are. So overall, the T-34 shielded, I do like the tank. I think it's a nice tank. I mean, it was a freebie. You could buy certificate pieces in the shop if you really wanted them, or if you knew you weren't going to be able to log in a certain day, then you could buy 10 certificates for 500 gold, which is a nice alternative if you do accidentally miss a day or are unable to claim the login bonus for a certain day. And yeah, I mean, you could do worse for a free tank. It's tier 5, it's a medium tank, it's a T-34, it has a pretty decent gun on it, it has heat, and yeah, overall, it's just a decent enough medium tank. So I'll thank you for watching, and goodbye.